learn better when no one is watching. Train Your English Brain, Episode 28, by Emma. Think about the last time you practiced English completely alone. No teacher listening, no classmate nearby, no one to correct you or judge you or notice when you got something wrong. Did it feel different? A little more relaxed, maybe? A little more free? If the answer is yes, you're not imagining that. Something real is happening when you practice alone that almost never happens when someone else is in the room. And understanding exactly what that is could be the thing that finally makes your English practice start working the way you always hoped it would. My name is Emma, and this is Train Your English Brain. I want to tell you about a woman named Clara. Clara was a strong student in the classroom. She understood lessons well. She did her homework carefully. She read English every single day. But in class, when the teacher asked a question, Clara never raised her hand. She knew the answer many times, but she stayed quiet. She looked down. She waited for someone else to speak. After class one day, her teacher asked her about this. Clara said something honest. She said, "When other people are watching, I can't think. My brain just stops." This surprised her teacher, because the Clara who studied alone at home was completely different. At home, Clara talked to herself in English. She made sentences, practiced questions, even argued with herself about small things. She was active, creative, even funny in her own English practice. Two versions of Clara. Same brain, same knowledge, completely different performance. What was happening to Clara is something researchers have studied for a long time. When other people are watching us, our brain automatically shifts into a different mode. We become more careful, more self-conscious, more focused on how we appear to others than on what we are actually trying to do. This extra layer of social awareness takes up real mental energy that would otherwise go toward finding words, building sentences, and thinking freely in English. In simple terms, when someone is watching, part of your brain is busy thinking about being watched. That part is not helping you speak. It is just worrying, and worrying takes up space that your English needs. This is why Clara went quiet in class. It wasn't that her English disappeared, it was that a portion of her mental energy had been redirected away from English and toward managing how she appeared in front of others. There is actually a name for this in psychology. It is called the social facilitation effect, and it has an interesting twist that surprises most people when they first hear it. For simple, well-practiced tasks, having an audience actually improves your performance. Athletes often perform better in front of crowds. Musicians sometimes play with more energy when someone is listening. But for complex tasks that you haven't fully mastered yet, having an audience does the opposite. It makes performance worse, sometimes significantly worse. Your brain is still building the skill, and the added pressure of being watched pulls mental resources away from exactly the process it needs most to work freely. English, for most learners at the A2 level, is still a complex, not yet mastered task. This means an audience, even a small, kind, friendly one, can genuinely make your speaking harder rather than easier. Not because you are nervous by nature, but because of how human brains naturally respond to social observation during skill building. This is why practicing alone is not the lazy option or the easy option. In many ways, it's the smarter option, especially in the early and middle stages of learning. When no one is watching, your brain is free to make mistakes without the weight of social judgment. Free to try a sentence, realize halfway through that it isn't working, and simply start again. Free to be slow, clumsy, experimental, in exactly the way that real skill building requires. This freedom is something you can't fully recreate in a classroom or in a formal conversation. It only exists in the private space where you are the only audience for your own practice. Clara eventually understood this and used it deliberately. She started treating her alone time as her real practice space, her classroom without walls, without judgment, without any mental energy going toward managing how she appeared in front of others. She started talking through her day in English every morning. She described her breakfast, her plans, her small frustrations and small joys in simple English sentences, alone in her kitchen. She made mistakes constantly, but she kept going because no one was there to make her feel bad about it. After several months, something interesting happened in her actual classroom. Her hand started going up, not because she had studied more grammar, not because her vocabulary had dramatically increased, but because the words had become more familiar, more available, more automatic, through hundreds of small, private, pressure-free practice sessions where her full brain had been free to do nothing except learn. The classroom felt less frightening because she had already spoken so much English alone, where the only thing that mattered was the practice itself. I want to give you one thing to try this week. Find 15 minutes when you are completely alone. No phone in your hand, no other task running in the background, just you and talk. In English. About anything at all. Your morning, your week, something you watched recently, something you are worried about, something small that made you smile. Don't worry about whether your sentences are correct. Don't stop to check a word. Just keep talking, the way you would in your own language, freely, imperfectly, continuously. You are not performing for anyone. You are practicing for yourself. And practicing for yourself with your full brain free and unobserved is exactly where the deepest, most lasting improvement quietly begins. Clara's hand going up in class started with a woman alone in her kitchen, talking to no one, making mistakes no one heard, building something no one could see yet. Your practice room is waiting, no audience required. My name is Emma. I will see you in the next episode.